Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's DAF Hayomi GITTEN DAF Mem Zayin. We are holding at the Mishnah on Mem Vav Amud Beis, 13 lines from the bottom. Says the Mishnah, HaMoicheres Atzmoi Ve'ezbonav Lo Eivdei Kechavim. If a fellow sells himself as a slave and his children together with him to the Goyim, Ein Poidin Oisei, we do not spend money to redeem him. Now the Gemara will explain to us. We're speaking about a person who has done this again and again. He's a repeat offender, relying on the good graces of the community, and therefore we don't come and step in to help him. So we do not redeem. Aval, however, Poidin Esabonim La'achar Misas Avian. But if the father passes away in captivity, we go ahead and we salvage the kids. We redeem the kids so that they don't assimilate and mix in with the Goyim. Says the Gemara, Amar of Asi, this, that we don't redeem him, that's only because he was taking advantage of the system. V'husha machar, he has sold himself once, Vishana, and did it again, Vishileish, and a third time as well, and therefore we say, okay, no more, and we just ignore his plight. But the first and second time, of course, we step in, try to help him out, give him a hand, and redeem him from captivity. And as the Mefarshim explained, this halacha pertains to the person himself as well, even without selling his kids together with him. But the Tana is simply highlighting a greater chiddush. Even though it was together with his family, we still don't step in if a person is taking advantage of the system. Says the Gemara, Hanu b'nei, they were residents of Bei Michsi, of this city. The Yaz fi zuzi mi'ovid kechavim. So they had a system where they would borrow money from Goyim. So they borrowed money, they had nothing to pay. The Goyim showed up and took them as slaves instead of payment. And this was something that, as we're going to see soon, that they did repeatedly, habitually. Also, so they came to Rav Huna to redeem them. Help us out. We're stuck. What can I do for you? Sorry, I wish I can help you. This none. We have a Mishnah that doesn't allow me. What does it say in the Mishnah? We do not bail him out. Amalei Rabbi Abba. So Rabbi Abba tells Rav Huna, but this is different. Limadetani Rabbeinu. But Rabbi, haven't you taught me? V'husha machar v'shana v'shileish. The Mishnah is only speaking at a repeat offender who did it again and again and again. It's habitual. It's addictive. We shouldn't be bailing him out to enable it further. But here it's different. Amar Leser, Rav Huna responded, Hani, Mirgal Regili, the Abdi Hachi. This too, this as well is such a case, because they were doing it over and over again. It was a regilis. It was a way of life. They would borrow money, allow themselves to be taken over by the Goyim, and relying on the good graces of the community to bail them out. And on this, the Mishnah says, we don't. Says the Gemara, there was another story about a habitual offender, Hogavra. There was this unfortunate fellow, this poor man, Dezav Nafshi Ludoi. He sold himself to a group of Goyim who turned out to be Ludoi, cannibals, people eaters. Also, Rabbi Ami. So this fellow comes to Rabbi Ami, Amar Lei Pirkun. He says, please redeem me. Amar Lei Tanan. So Rabbi Ami responds, of course, the Mishnah says so. The person habitually sells himself with his children to the Goyim. We don't step in and redeem him. But if there is a real serious danger, spiritual danger to those kids, we do redeem. But after the father passes away, the Mishnah says we redeem the kids. Why? Mishum kilkula. When the father's around, he'll perhaps look after them watch them, but once he passes away, there's a real concern that they might assimilate. So on account of that spiritual danger, we go and redeem them, even if it was an habitual type of thing. Certainly in this case, because your life is in danger. So the Rabbanon responded to Rab Ami, 1 second. Not in all cases. He has to be an upstanding Yid. But if he rejected the Torah way of life, there's no din to redeem him. Ah, Yisrael Mumarhu. He's a Yisrael Mumar, the Kachazule, the Kachal Nevelos. Everybody sees that he eats Nevelos and Treifas, non-kosher food. Amar Lus Rav Ami says, what? Maybe he's not doing it in spite. Maybe he's just drawn to it. Maybe he has a desire, and that's why he's eating it. And therefore, he's not on the level of a min, Rashi says. He's just a mumar, a low-level mumar. He's straying out of Yetzer Hara, out of desire. So they responded, no. Sometimes you have, he's faced with a choice. He has kosher food, v'isura, and non-kosher food, kamei, both presented before him. V'shavik hetera. He ignores the heter. What does he eat? V'kachal isur, he eats the isur. Adam saw him doing that. He's doing it in spite. He's rejecting the Torah way of life. And Rashi brings, he's called a min, in which case we don't do anything to protect him and to help him. Amar Leiser, Rami turned to this fellow, okay, I'm stuck, I can't help you. Zil, go, I can't help you. Like Shavkili, they're not letting me. I can't go redeem you. I have no power to do so. Says the Gemara, Reish Lakish. Now we all know that Reish Lakish, big Amoira, was at an early point in his life, was a head of the bandits, leader of the Ganavim. And some Mefarshim learned that this story took place at that time. Some disagree. Some say that actually it took place later when he did teshuvah, and he was trying to undo what he did, trying to fix what he did, to rectify what he did, and he schemed to eradicate thieves and bandits from the world as a tikkun for what he did. Either way, it says the Gemara, Reish Lakish zavin nafshe luludoi. Reish Lakish, who happens to be, one time sold himself to this type of group of people, cannibals, real vicious bandits. Shokal bahadei chayso vigalgalta. What did he take with him? A sack, tied up sack, which had in it a galgalta, some sort of a round, like a pebble of something, which was hidden, concealed inside that sack, and which was unseen by others. Amar, now he knew, he said like this, Gemiri, we know that even the cannibals have a tradition. The Yom Basra, the last day of their victim's life, Kol the boy minayu avdilei, they fulfill his last wish. Whatever he asks, avdilei, they do for him. So this way, there'll be mechila on his spilled blood. So that was their tradition. So knowing that, he approached the cannibals, and he played into their hands. Yom Basra. So on his last day, when they were about to kill him, Amalei, they ask him, "No, my nichalach, anything we can do for you?" Amalei, he tells him, "Yeah, one small request. But this is what I'd like to do. Akmetinchu, let me tie you up, v'isvinchu, and sit you down, v'kolchad minaychu, and to every one of you, emche, I will strike with this chaysa, with this little sack of mine. I'll strike you once and a half, 1.5 strikes." Chaysa upalka. Okay, they said fine. How terrible can it be? Just a little sack. Okay, kamtinu vasvinu. So he tied them up, sat them down. Kol chad minayu. Kol chad minayu. So every one of them, meaning one to the other. Kad machye, chad chaysa. As soon as he hit him with one, get one strike. He was so strong, Rish Lakish. Just one whip with that improvised weapon that he had. Nafak lishmatse. He killed him. Charkine lishine. And as the fellow was dying, he sort of was. As he was dying, his teeth were like grating and grinning, and it looked like he was. He made sort of sound like he's always laughing. So he says, "Are you laughing at me?" Rish Lakish told this victim, "Akati, it was only one slap. I still owe you another half. Akati pashlach gabi. You still have left by me pagadachais, a half a strike, a half a patch." And perhaps he did this so that the other ones should think that his victim was still alive. Right? They should realize that he actually killed him. So he went from one to the next doing this. Katlinu kulu, and he killed them all out. Nafak v'asa. And he left, he came back home. Okay, another Maisa with Rish Lakish. Yosef ka'achal v'shasi. This was Rish Lakish's practice when he was a big tzaddik. He, sit down and have his meal, eat and drink, and he wasn't a big saver. He wouldn't save anything for the next day or for retirement. Amrle brate, his daughter tells him, like, boys, midil mizgale. What about something to lie on? You're not saving something. You're just eating everything up. Not leaving anything to buy yourself a pillow or something, a blanket, mattress. Amr Allah, so he tells Abiti, my daughter, crazy curry. Rish Lakish was oversized, was a large-sized person, and he says, my stomach is my pillow. I lean on that. Kinach nafshi. And when Rish Lakish passed away, Shavak kavad marika. So he was very careful to just consume everything. Whatever Hashem gives me, I use up. There's no point in saving and amassing for my later generations. Or as the way some Mepharshim explained, this is also a tikkun for his, a tshuva for his gazela. He wanted, basically. Whatever he has, he would have to return and give to his victims. So basically, he had nothing that he would just hold for himself. Either he would consume it, or he would use it for tzarchei tzibur, which is also a tikkun for gzela. In any case, nothing was left behind, except when he passed away, something was left behind. Shavak kaba, a small measure of the marika of charkim, some sort of plant, some sort of spice. And he was unhappy about that. He thought he would just consume everything without leaving anything behind. Karan Avshei applied to himself the pasuk, V'azvu la'acherim chelam. This is in Tehillim Memtes. Those who leave behind great wealth for their kids and their grandkids, not realizing that Hashem will look after everybody. So basically, even the small measure of spice he felt he shouldn't have left behind. He should have used everything that Hashem gave him. Okay, so we had a Mishnah. If one sells himself, even with his kids, to goyim, over and over and over again, taking advantage of the system, we don't step in and cash in for him. If the father passes away, we do so for the kids to protect him. Certainly if it's a situation of pikuach nefesh, we had some stories. And Rish Lakish's shita of Baruch Hashem Ya'im Ya'im, whatever Hashem gives us, we consume, lest we fall into the trap of V'azru la'acherim chelam. Okay, continues the Mishnah. If one should sell his field, we're speaking in Eretz Yisrael, he sells it to a guy, which of course is an Isser. We have a drasha, we're not meant to do so. If one does that, every year, seller must go to buyer and retrieve the first batch of fruit that grows on his field and bring it as bikurim. And that makes it very difficult. And perhaps we'll encourage the buyer to be matriach and make an effort to rebuy the field from the guy. Now comes an interesting machlokes amiroi between Rabbah and Reb Zera. What happens when a guy actually purchases land in Eretz Yisrael? Is that field considered the guy's, pertaining to Truma and Maser, or is it still considered Kaddish and unaffected by that transfer of ownership? Amar Rabbah, there is no effect, no change. A guy has no ability to acquire, to change the status of property Eretz Yisrael, lafkia midei maser, to free it from chi of maser. It remains kaddish, unaffected by that ownership. Shenemar kili haaretz. Pasuk says, Hashem says, kili haaretz. It's my land. The li kedushas haaretz, the kedusha of the Eretz Yisrael, remains unchanged. So that's true. That's a given. Aval, but still you should know, says Rabbah. If a guy does own land in Eretz Yisrael, although it's still Kaddish and unaffected by his ownership, well, you should know he has the Rishus. Hashem does give him Rishus to use it, to dig within it, Bayros, Sichanim, Aris, all types of ditches and water holes. Shnemar, Shemaim, Shemaim Lashem, Va'aretz Nasan Bnei Adam. Heaven belongs to Hashem, and Hashem gives us the land. And according to Rabbah, this refers even to Eretz Yisrael, given to men for all their needs. Even if a guy owns it, he can use it. Rabbi Lezer Eimer, he disagrees. Just the opposite. Even though a guy has the kayach, has the ability, to own a piece of land and change its status, make it pata from maser. Shenamar digoncha. Pasuk says, "Reishis digoncha," right? The first of your crop, a Jewish crop. V'lo dagon ovid kechavim. But crop from a goyish owned field is not obligated in maser. So that's a given. Aval ein kinyan lo ovid kechavim beretz Yisrael lachbar ba boiros sichnam aris. Although he has no ability to own it pertaining to maser status, but when it comes to, even though he does have the ability to change its status regarding maser, it's considered, so to speak, his, and therefore there's no chi of maser, but when it comes to actually changing the configuration of the actual land, meaning it's a limited ownership, he has peris rights, he has right of use, but he can't just go and dig in it, it's not his for that purposes. Shnemar Lashem haaretz. It's Hashem's land. It wasn't given to a guy to dig in it. Some Mefarshim have a girsa, Kili haaretz, that pasuk that we brought before, that Eretz Yisrael is strictly, uniquely Hashem's, given to the Yidden exclusively. So bottom line, pertaining to the chi of maser on a non-Jewish owned field in Eretz Yisrael, Rabbah says there is chi of maser. Perhaps he can dig, but he can't change its status regarding maser. Rabbi Lezer goes the other way. He can own it pertaining to maser, so there's no chi of maser right now. But otherwise, he must lay off. But Micah Mifli, what's the machlekes about? So the pasuk says Reishis degoncha, right? That's the chi of maser. Marsav degoncha, v'loy dogon ovid kechavim. Rabbi Lezer says degoncha is a Jewish-owned crop, but if it was grown by a guy, there is no chiv of maser. But Marsavar, Rabbi learns a bit different. We read the word degoncha as though it would be diguncha. Who processed it? Who made it into grain? If it's your processing, then it's chayiv and maser, irrespective of in whose field it grew, irrespective of who farmed and produced that produce. Bottom line is who's making it into a grain, who's processing it now, who's doing the gemar malacha, which of course triggers the chayiv maser. That's the critical question. Digun cha, if it's Jewish, digun, yeah, chayiv and maser. V'loy digun ovid kechav. But if at the point of digun it belongs to a guy, then it's pata from maser. Again, irrespective of who grew it. So bottom line, according to Rabbah, ein kinyan loivet kechavim be'eretz Yisrael to be mafkia from maaser. So even if the dagon actually was grown by a guy, it doesn't matter. According to Rabbi Lezer, yesh kinyan loivet kechavim be'eretz Yisrael afkia miyad maaser. It's all about whose dagon it is. Amar Rabba, how do I know that in fact even a non-Jewish owned farm in Eretz Yisrael is chayiv and maser? It's not halakhat, stalks that were dropped by the farmer while collecting them, while cutting them, va'ashikcha, bundles that were left behind, va'peah, those areas of the field, the corners left for the poor people, sh'ovid kechavim, that belong to goyim, chayavim and maser are obligated in maser. Elim kain hefker, unless he made it hefker. So as Rashi explains, typically leket, shikha, and peah are potter from maser because they're like hefker. Anybody can take them, even a Levi who doesn't have land, but if he's a poor man, he can take it. So the chi of maser doesn't apply to that. But here we learn that if the leket, shikha, peah belong to a guy, it's chayiv and maser, unless it was made into a hefker. And hefker, of course, is potter from maser. Hechidami, what exactly transpired here? Who did it belong to? Who picked it? What's going on? Elaim with the Israel. We're speaking about a Jewish land, leket of a Jewish farm, and a guy, a poor man, came and collected it. So we say that it's chayiv and maser, unless Elim kain hefker, unless he made it hefker. What do you mean? Ha'mifker v'kaimi. The owner, the farmer, left it for all to take. It's hefker by default. Why do we need the guy who picked it to make it hefker? It's already hefker. El lav David kechav. Oh, apparently, it was a goyish farm, and he left behind leket and shikha. That's his minhag. He left behind leket shikha pei just like Yisrael. He looked into Yisrael, and poor Jewish men came and collected it. What does the Mishnah say? Is it considered leket? Is it considered peah? No. Why? Because a guy has no chiv of leket shikha peah. So really, it's chayiv and maser, like any other produce, unless he's mafker it. Okay, so hefker. Even a guy can make hefker. El lav David kicham looked into Yisrael. Tama de hefker. Oh, only because he made it hefker. Do we say it's potter from maser? Hola hefker chayiv, but otherwise, just plain leket from a goyish field is chayiv and maser. Isn't that a raya to our question? Apparently, something grown in a field of Ovid Kechavim is Kaddish, B'Kedushas Yisrael, Kedushas Eretz Yisrael, and has Chiyav Maser. And Rabbah brought this as a raya to his shita, that a goy's ownership doesn't change the halachas of Maser. Loi, never mind, says the Gemara, Loi Lom de Yisrael. Certainly this case could be speaking about a farm owned by a Yisrael. It so happens that a goyish pauper came and collected the leket. So what does the Mishnah say? Does it have a status of leket? No. Is it chayiv and maser? Yes. And the question is, why? With the ka'amras hamifker v'kaimi. So your question was, what do you mean? Leket is automatically hefker. The answer is like this. The mifkeri adated Yisrael. Sure, the Yisrael farmer had in mind that Yisraelim, poor aniyim, Yisraelim will collect it. So the hefker is intended for them. But adated David kechav mi mafkeri. Did he have in mind then that if a guy comes and takes it, it should be hefker? Of course not. That's not what he had in mind when he made the leket. Right? So it's not considered a proper hefker, unless he explicitly makes it hefker. So again, Rabbah tried to bring a right. We're speaking about a goyish field, and we see there's chiyav maser. No, we're speaking about a Jewish field. And of course, there's chiyav maser unless it's hefker. Okay, now we're going to bring several rayas to Rabbi Lezer's sheet. What does Rabbi Lezer hold? That a guy's ownership does change the status of a field in Eretz Yisrael. It makes it pater from Maser. Right? Degancha v'loy dagan oived kechav. Here come three rayas. Tashma. Yisrael shalaka sadam oived kechav. Yisrael purchased a field from a guy, and the grain was already in process, was already partially grown. Actually, via shlish, and he took it from him before it reached a third of its growth, which is the cutoff point, so to speak. When it gets to a shlish, it's chayev in maser, by grain, that is. And then he resold it. He sold it back to the guy after the grain has already arrived at a third of its growth. So he purchased it when it was very small. It reached a third of its growth in the hands of the Yisrael, and then he sold it back to the guy. Chayev b'maser. That produce has chayev of maser. Shekvar neschayva, because even though originally it belonged to the guy, and at the end of the day it belongs to a guy, but at the trigger point, when it hit a third of its growth, or a third of its size, it belonged to the Yisrael. So the chayev of maser was imposed on it right then. Says the Gemara, neschayva. Let's make a diuk. Right, so we had this price. Let's make a diuk. This halach only applies because the Yisrael owned it at that critical point. Lo neschayva, but otherwise, there would be no chayev of maser. What do you mean? It's a field in Eretz Yisrael. Apparently, because the guy's ownership frees it from maser. That's a right to Rabbi Lezer. Answers the Gemara, no. GITTEN, perhaps I'm speaking Basuria. It's a farm that, not in the Eretz Yisrael proper, but in Syria. Because Sarah Kivush Yachach Leishmei Kivush. And we know Syria was captured by David HaMelech, and Rashi says it was sort of on his own without all of Yisrael. Other Rishonim learned that it was captured before the entire Eretz Yisrael was captured. So in any case, it's called Kibush Yachad, a private capture. It doesn't have the same status of Eretz Yisrael over there. Indeed, we could say that although there's Chiyav Maser Midrabanan, but when the guy owns it, the Rabbanan did not apply the Chiyav Maser. But in Eretz Yisrael proper, it would be Chayav and Maser, even if it's guy owned. Tashma, another right to Rabbi Lezer. Yisrael So Yisrael and a guy purchased a field. B'shutfus, they're partners, and the field's growing. The grain is growing, and what happens now? Tevel v'chulin muravin zebazeh. So we have a mix. Everything in that field is a mix. Some of it is tevel because of the part that's owned by the Yisrael. So that's chayiv and maser. So every kernel, so to speak, is a mix between tevel, the Jewish-owned part, and chulin, the non-Jewish-owned part, which is not chayiv and maser. Divi Rebbe, that's Rebbe's sheet. Rebbe Shimon Leimer. You're not stuck in this perpetual mix-up. There's a way out. Shleivet gechav and pata. Ultimately, when they divide, they split up. So the part that the guy walks home with is considered to have been his all along, and it's pata from maser. Shal Yisrael chayiv. The part that Yisrael takes home is chayiv and maser. Now, ad kan lepligi. Now, this whole discussion is only whether we apply this breira formula. Ella the marsa v'yesh breira. Rabbi Shimon says you can say breira, which means the part that Yisrael took home with him was destined for him, was meant for him, it was all along his. And the part that the guy took belonged to him, so we're good to go. Marsa v'yesh breira. Rabbi says we don't say breira; it's just a perpetual mix-up which cannot be defined. Okay, so that's a side point. But it's clear, very clear from this halacha, that whatever the guy owns is his and is exempt from maser. That's the right to Rabbi Lezer. Once again, hachanami b'surya, v'kasavar kibush yochel leishmei kibush. Perhaps it's speaking about surya. So if it's guy owned, there is no chiyuv. Amar Avchei Barab Tashma. I'll try to bring another right to Rabbi Lezer, that a guy's ownership does change status. Tashma. Hamecha sadei levet kechav. Well, guess what? This is our Mishnah. One sells his field to a guy, loikeach. He's obligated to go repurchase, or maybe bikurim, to bring bikurim. Why? Tikuna olam. I want to make it difficult for you so that hopefully you'll go and rebuy that field, repurchase the field from the guy. That's the Mishnah we learned. Now, we play Tikuna Olam in. Apparently, it's only because of this new takana that there is a chiyuv to bring bikurim. Midai Raisa, loy. But apparently, that Minat Torah, there's no chiyuv to bring bikurim. So that's a right to Rabbi Lezer. That the guy's ownership removes the kedusha of the karka pertaining to these halachas of bikurim and maser, and therefore there's no chiyuv of bikurim. That's right to Rabbi Lezer. Amar of Ashi, no. Perhaps there's a chiyuv min Torah to bring bikurim. Shtei takanas have. When the Mishnah says that you do it only because of a takana, really there were two separate takanas. Listen to this. It was a whole chain of events. Initially, the good old days, this was the halach. This was the practice. You sell to a guy, minat Torah, you have to go retrieve the bikurim and bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. Right? Rashi goes and explains here that bikurim is a personal chiyuv, so the owner, or the former owner, he can't just exempt himself from that. He has to go and look after the bikurim, find it and bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. It's different than maser, which is not personal. Here we have to go and look after it, find it and bring it. That was the original way to do things. But kivan the chas, why? The reason is because a guy cannot change its status. There's still the chiyuvim unchanged. Given the chazad become mikri masbani, but you know what happened? The Chachamim saw that people adopted this sort of laissez-faire, attitude. Komakri happens, or masbani, they sell to the goyim. Why? This encouraged people. This encouraged additional sales. The sabruk to sayu kaima, because people were thinking now, look, the kedusha is still there. It maintains its kedusha. Look, I even have to go and get the bikurim. So the land did not lose any kedusha. I didn't do anything wrong by selling it to the guy. So if anything, this practice encouraged more sales. Oh, that's when the Chachamim stepped in. Tekinilu deloy leiser. So you know what the Chachamim did? They suspended this practice. No, don't bring bikurim. This way you'll feel guilty. You'll be cognizant of the fact that, it wasn't a good thing. It was usher to sell that land. You realize that there was something negative that happened here. What happened then? Give it the chazah, but once the Chachamim saw the mandalay sagale, that a person who's stuck financially, he's strapped, he has no, he's short of money, mezabin, he would sell to a guy, become a shtakim, so now they would sell, and it would just stay in the guy's hands. Because the seller wasn't penalized. Right? So there would be no reason to go ahead and make the extra effort to redeem the land. Oh, now came the second and final takana, which is alluded to in our Mishnah. When you sell to a guy, you have to go retrieve that first crop and bring it, or a portion of the first crop, and bring it as bikurim. Hada tekinlu delaisu. That precipitated this takana. Chacham came around and made another takana. No, go bring the bikurim from that field. So bottom line is like this. We thought we had a raya to Rabbi Lezer that a goyish field is pater from bikurim because look at the Mishnah. You sell a land to the guy. Tikkun Olam requires that you go get back the bikurim. Apparently it's only Chachamim that are misakin. It's not even a Torah. No, says Rash, just the opposite. Initially, everybody would have to do it. Not Torah. Chachamim suspended it for concern that perhaps it's going to encourage more sales. But then they saw that, in any case, a person who's stuck will sell. And then he has no, incentive to rebuy it. comes the next takana, which says, go get that bikurim. It makes it difficult for the seller to have to go and pay inflated prices and get back the first produce there. So that perhaps will encourage people to redeem their field and perhaps not sell it initially. Okay, so to summarize, we had a machlekes Rabba and Rabbi Lazar, a field owned by a guy in Eretz Yisrael. What status does it have? Does the guy have the koyach to be mafkia di maser or not? We had rayas this way and that. Itmar comes another machlekes. Hamaychar sedeu leperis. Ruvain sold his field to Shimon, so to Yidden in Eretz Yisrael. But I didn't sell the actual field. I sold the right of use, the crops of my field. You can have my field for 10 years, enjoy the crops. So the pears were sold, but not the actual, goof of the field. What happens when it comes to bikurim? Pasuk says the first fruit are brought to the Beis Hamikdash. You bring it and you read the parsha, declaring that you've brought the fruit of your field, right? Reishis pri adama asher nasata li Hashem has to be your field, which grew this crop. Interesting question. I own this field, but only a limited ownership, a crop ownership. Is that considered enough for me to get up and say, Hashem, this is the Reishis pri adama asher nasata li Hashem? We have machlekes. Rabbi Yehuda Amar maybe v'koyer. You can bring the bikurim and read the parsha as well. Owning the field for this purpose is considered sufficient ownership. Rish Lakish Amar no. Maybe. Although you bring the bikurim, some say it's only the rabbanim. But you don't read the parsha. It's not really your field. Rabbi Yehuda Amar maybe v'koyer. You bring and you read kinyan peres kinyan aguf dami. Having a kinyan for peres is tantamount to owning part of the actual field. You own the field for its crop. It's also considered an aspect of ownership in the field itself. Maybe in Ikar, no. Kinyan peres, just because you have a right to take the peres, lavki kinyan aguf dami. It's not considered actual ownership in the actual field. Eisvei Rabbi Yechanan l'Rish Lakish. So Rabbi Yechanan asks Rish Lakish a question. Ula beischa. So the pasuk by Bikurim, says, "V'samachta b'chal hatoiv, asher nasan l'cha Hashem l'kecha, ule beischa." So rejoice with all the goodness that Hashem gave you and your family. Beischa is the lashon of bayis, bayis is ishtay, relating to one's wife, who's the essence of his home. What did the Brisa learn from this pasuk? Malamich adam maybe bikura ishtay v'kore. One can bring bikurim that grew on his wife's field. We know that's called nichsei milug. A field that his wife owns during the marriage is really hers, but it's his peres. He has a right to take the crop. He can take from that bikurim, bring it to the Mikdash, and recite the parsha. Even though he's not really the actual owner of the actual field, he only has peres rights. Oh, says Rabbi Yechon, there's a raya. Kinyan peres is like kinyan aguf. Amar le. Rish Lakish responds, that's an exception. Shani hasam dechsiv ela beischa. If anything, that proves the opposite, says Rish Lakish. Typically, kinyan peres is not sufficient to be considered a proper owner. There, the pasuk has to highlight the fact that even this type of arrangement justifies the bikurim recital. A special pasuk for it. Some say that actually Rish Lakish brought his raya from this brisa. What do we learn? So that pasuk teaches us that he can go bring the bikurim from this field, which his wife owns, which he only has kinyan peres in. That's only because there's a special pasuk that allows it. Apparently, pertaining to other halachas, kinyan peres is not sufficient to be considered a true owner. That's a right to me. If anything, it's a right to me. Amalei. So Rish Yechon responds, no, Tama de dinami mehacha kamina. Actually, I learned my concept from this pasuk. The fact that the Torah considers him to be an owner, enough to get up and say, this is my field. So you see, kinyan peres is tantamount to ownership. And we apply it to elsewhere as well. Eisvei, Rish Lakish asks Rabbi Yehuda another question. Hayuba b'derech, the Brisa says that if the husband was en route to Yerushalayim, ubikurei ishta b'yadai, carrying the basket of the bikurim, fruit from his wife's field, v'shamas emeisa ishtoi, and en route he hears bad news that his wife passed away, and now he becomes the full-fledged owner of that field. What happens to the bikurim? Maybe v'koiri, you could deliver the bikurim to Beis Hamikdash and actually recite the parsha, because now it's truly his field. Asher nasata li Hashem. Let's make a diuk on the Brisa. It only works because she passed away. Mesa in. Loy mesa loy, but otherwise, she hadn't passed away. He can't do this. So what does that show? Kinyan Paris that her husband has is not enough. 1 second asks Tosfos, what happened to that pasuk that we just mentioned? Ula beischa, right? That a husband can bring bikurim on behalf of his wife. Says Tosfos, well, perhaps so that pasuk is also speaking that she passed away before he delivered to the Beis Hamikdash. The pasuk is saying, well, even though when he picked it, it was still her field, but it works, provided that he's now the full owner. But otherwise, he can't read the parsha. That's a kasha on Rabbi Yehuda. Loi, says the Gemara, perhaps not. Hu adin afgav loy mesa. The same exact din would apply even if she's not mesa, because kinyan Paris is enough. Umesa tzrichalei. The Brisa wanted to highlight a case where she passed away. There's an added chidush here. Perhaps I would think there would be room to disallow this on account of Rabbi Yisrael Chanina, to Rabbi Yisrael Chanina. Batron v'shugur b'yad shliach. Let's say a Jewish farmer picked his grapes and he sent the bikurim grapes with a messenger, with a shliach to the Beis Hamikdash. Now, upon delivering the grapes to the Beis Hamikdash, the shliach cannot say the parsha because it's not his field. But umeis shliach b'derech. Shliach passed away en route. Farmer caught up to him and resumed the mission, brought to the bikurim to the Beis Hamikdash. Maybe ve'enei kur, although he can bring it, but he can't say the parsha. You know why? What do you mean? He's the owner. Because there was a disruption in the process. It wasn't a continuous process from field to Beis Hamikdash. There was one person involved, then another. Shanama v'lokachta ve'veisa. Lokachta, take the fruit out of your field, bring it to the Beis Hamikdash in one continuum. It must be done by the same individual, as opposed to here where the shliach started and then the owner took over. You can't say the parsha. Now, because of this halacha, I would say perhaps even in our case of the husband and wife, since it starts with a husband who's not really an owner, and then midway he turns into an owner. So it's like the actual farmer took over from the shliach, even though it's the same person, but he changed status. He switched caps. The husband started as a shliach of his wife, and now he turned into the owner. So if we allow him to say the parsha bikurim, perhaps the onlooker will confuse it and apply the same halacha to our case of the farmer with the shliach. Kamash Malon, the chiddush is no, we're not concerned. You see, but really it's a mistake, because in the case of the husband, of course, we have that pasuk, right, that the husband can say the parsha, even if his wife is alive and well. But again, we're speaking about confusion, creating perception. So it might lead to the wrongful application of the halacha with the farmer and the shliach. No, says the Mishnah Kamashmon. The Brisa says, no, don't worry about it. In this case, we all know that a husband is different, and of course, we all understand that he can read the parsha. And the reason is because very simple, because the husband has been able to read the parsha from the get-go. As soon as he took it from the field, we had the pasuk lebeischa that enabled him to read the parsha, says Rabbi Yehuda. And therefore, in this case, is no concern. Okay, let's summarize today's daf. So if a fellow habitually sells himself and or his kids to goyim, we don't step in unless there's real, spiritual danger or physical danger, right? Such as if he passes away, we go and redeem the kids. Or in a case where the person is actually in physical danger, in ordinary circumstances, if he's a member of the Yisrael community, as opposed to a min, as we had in that story. We had the story where Rish Lakish got back at the bandits, and he displayed very pure emunah in Hashem and his ability to provide for himself and his kids. We spoke about selling the sada to the guy, which of course is aser. If one does so, he has to retrieve the bikurim even at great expense. We had a machlekes whether or not a guy who owns a field in Eretz Yisrael is mafkia the kedusha, whether the field is now exempt from maser or not. We had a shaila to Rish Lakish whether kinyan Paris is considered like kinyan aguf or not. Hatzlacha Rabba to you, and all the best.